not waiting around for you.
Oh, no, she's dating
Judi
James
Dench.
Bond, right?
Yes,
She's involved
Judi
with
Dench
James
is
Bond.
so cool, man. So cool.
She is. Welcome to PTI, boys and girls. In today's episode, Lamar Jackson has a sense of urgency. Austin Reeves delivers again, and Booger McFarland joins us for 5 good minutes. But we begin today with Toronto heading home with a 3-2 lead in the World Series, thanks to a 6-1 win over the Dodgers last night. Blake Snell was greeted by a first-pitch home run by Davis Schneider. 2 pitches later, Vlad Guerrero Jr. hit a second home run. Boom, boom. Toronto got a masterful 12 strikeout, no walks, 7 innings out of rookie Trey Savage. Wilbon, what did you make of Savage's performance, where it puts the Jays, and where it leaves the Dodgers?
Yeah, the story of last night is Savage. The story continues in this series, Tony, to be of starting pitching. And whoever really gets it that night, and there have been a couple of masterpieces, they seem to just, take control, and that game is a wrap. And so Savage, you sit there and you're thinking, okay, he's not going to be able to stay in this kind of control. No walks with those strikeouts. And I know this matters to you because it matters to me. And maybe 80% of the people out there don't know who this person is when they cut to the dashing older gentleman who looks like a Bond character with the silver hair. And it's Sandy F. Koufax. I'm always screaming to whoever I'm with, like to Matthew, it's Sandy Koufax, shut up and bow your head. And they show Koufax, and I know Savage is on the other team, but it's so cool when they do that, and you put your name in the books in postseason play, specifically the World Series, with Sandy Koufax. That's what I make of it, and the Dodgers are in trouble going to Toronto. That's what I make of it.
Yeah, so, the Dodgers say that they have to hit more. I watched Mookie Betts say that in the postgame. And because the top of the order last night, Ohtani and Will Smith and Mookie and Freddie Freeman, they were 1 for 15 and they had 8 strikeouts. Yeah, they have to hit more, but it's not like you can just will that to happen. The other team's pitcher has something to do with that. Savage is a revelation. He started out this season, not last season, this season in Single A in Dunedin, Florida, pitching against, let me get this straight, the Jupiter Hammerheads with 327 paid in attendance. He now has more starts in the postseason than he had in the regular season, and that performance by a rookie in the postseason, 12 strikeouts and no walks, surpasses names that we've heard of, like Smokey Joe Wood, Don Newcomb, and as you're alluding to, Sandy Koufax. Are you kidding me? Mike, I sit on this show a lot, and when I get something right, I said, I believe I had that. I could not have been more wrong with this. I thought Blake Snell would be terrific, and I thought Savage would crumble under the pressure. I did. In those first 2 home runs, they took the air out of the balloon. Now I will say this. In the 3rd inning, on a 3-2 pitch, I believe, the umpires squeezed Max Muncy. The pitch was 1.5 feet low, and he called it a strike. The next batter up, Kiki Hernandez, gets a home run. It could have been 2-2. We could have had a different game, and I don't think the Dodgers are necessarily out of it. I think Yamamoto gets them to Game 7. I do, but Toronto's were they 54-27 at home in the regular season? They're good there. They're good there.
Great home record. By the way, you weren't wrong by yourself. You and Derek Jeter. Jeter told us why X was going to happen, and it was the reverse of X when the game got started. The great Derek Jeter. Jeter.
Number 2, the captain, Derek Jeter.
Let's move to tonight's game between the Ravens and Dolphins. Lamar Jackson returns to Baltimore after missing 3 games with a right hammy. The Ravens are just 2-5, and Jackson said this week, quote, each and every game is going to be like a win-or-go-home game. It's do or die right now, each and every week, close quote. Tone, you agree with that?
No, not at all. That division stinks. 9-8 can win that division. If not, 8-9 can win that division. Cincinnati at the moment is 3-5, and they don't have a quarterback, right? Flacco is hurt. They may have to go back to Jake Browning. Cleveland is 2-6. They supposedly have a defense. They have no offense. 3rd worst offense in the league, 15.8 points a game. Pittsburgh is 4-3, but have you seen them? They do not pass the eye test. They do not. So Baltimore is 2-5 with 10 games to go, right? 10 games to go. They can win 7 or 8 games, and I believe they can win the division. And you can't have a winner-go-home game, 10 times in a row. I don't think that that's possible. Here, bear with me. This is who the Ravens have left. At Miami tonight, at Minnesota, at Cleveland, who they've beaten already.
3 in a row.
Home Jets, home Bengals, home Steelers, at Bengals, Patriots at home, at Packers, at Steelers. 7 wins there is realistic. And even if they only win the 5 division games, Mike, and they set everybody else in the division back, they can still win.
They got to get to 9 or 10. The next 3 are do or die. And they have to treat it like that. And look, a lot of the country may not have been paying attention to last week. I was, because they played my team. That was a playoff game coming off a bye without the starting quarterback for Baltimore. They passed that test. Now, they got to win the next 3. They win the next 3, they're going to more than likely be on Pittsburgh's heels, and they can be okay from there. But the next 3, I think, are do or die. I think that's the only way for Baltimore to approach this. They got to get Lamar Jackson back in the form that we are accustomed seeing him, which is MVP form. You don't always jump back into that when you've missed 3 games.
I understand this. I'm just suggesting to you that, and I may have to revise this tomorrow if they lose to the Dolphins, because the Dolphins aren't very good at all.
They're not losing.
The Dolphins are 21st in points scored and 26 in points allowed. If you have Lamar Jackson and he's playing and you can't beat them, then it is over. And I don't think that's the case.
They're going to win.
Yeah, I think so. Let's move to basketball. The Lakers last night got a buzzer-beating floater from Austin Reeves to beat Minnesota at Minnesota 116-115. Those 2 points gave Reeves 28 for the game with a career-high 16 assists. This game follows 2 games where Reeves got 51 points in Sacramento and 41 at home against Portland. Wilbon, what is the word for the week that Austin Reeves is having?
Player. That's the word. Look, I was going to use breakout, but Austin Reeves did that a year ago when he averaged 20 in the NBA. But now, with no LeBron and even with no Luka, this is what Reeves has to do. He has to lead. And so now he's a guy who can go out there and put up 50. Are you kidding me? By the way, this is great coaching, okay, on the part of J.J. Redick, who met with Reeves, I'm sure during the summer to say, anticipating it. And anticipating is part of great coaching. Okay, yeah, I know we got LeBron and we got Luka, but dude, you're no longer some guy who's out there that people are going, oh my God, we didn't know he could play. We know you can play. It's time to do it every night, and it's time to lead, and Austin Reeves is doing that.
So that's fairly persuasive. I mean, the word that I would use is the word that I think most people would use, and that is really? Because, let's face it, he's had a great week, but he's not getting those numbers if Luka and LeBron are playing. He's getting the 18, 20 to 22 that he gets all the time. He's a very nice player. I would love to have him. This, to me, is symptomatic of what's going on in the NBA right now. Now, I'm not paying a lot of attention because the World Series is on and the NFL is on. But I am looking at scores, Mike. And it seems that every night there's 3 or 4 games that end in 140 to 130, and somebody gets 40 or 50. Austin Reeves got 51. Markkanen got 51. Aaron Gordon got 50. Luka, in one of the games he played, got 49. I know you love Tyrese Maxey, got 43. He's averaging 38. Giannis is averaging 36. He's a 24-point-a-game guy for his entire career. There's a lot of the Wizards, who are terrible, average 121 points a game, and they're trying to lose. They're trying to lose and getting 121.
It's 1962 in terms of team offense. But we're talking about Reeves specifically. You mentioned Luka. Luka not out there. LeBron's not out there. For the Lakers to stay afloat, somebody's got to step up there, and it's Reeves.
I give you that. Let's take a break. Coming up, the Chiefs and the Bills meet on Sunday. Which team has stronger prospects? We're going to ask Booger McFarland.
We'll also ask him about the chaos surrounding the LSU head coaching search. I might say nonsense surrounding that search. Nonsense.
So only 3 teams aren't averaging at least 110, and one of them is Dallas. Another reason to fire Nico, I'm sure.
Wow.
And the Pelicans and the Clippers.
Pardon the Interruption is presented by the refreshing taste of Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea. Please drink responsibly. Part of Happy Hour.
In a story we broke wide open in our first segment, Week 9 of the NFL season kicks off tonight, which makes it a perfect time to welcome back our great friend, ESPN NFL and college football analyst Booger McFarland, wearing a shirt from Pine Valley, and I hope you tried the turtle soup. Let's go to this. The Chiefs are at the Bills this week. Which of these teams are you more bullish on moving forward?
Well, I'm going to choose the team that has more talent, Tony, and I think that's the Kansas City Chiefs. I think if you look at them now that they're whole, now that Rashee Rice is back in the fold, to go with Hollywood Brown, Xavier Worthy, you got Travis Kelce, Patrick Mahomes has been playing really good football, and I think it's only going to get better. And let's not forget, last year they were carried by their defense, and their defense hasn't quite played to that level yet. So when their defense gets back to where they were last year to go along with this offense, I think the Kansas City Chiefs are the team to beat. I will say this about the Buffalo Bills. I'm going to throw this right in Wilbon's lap. The Buffalo Bills remind me a little bit of the Utah Jazz. Like, they were really good with Stockton and Malone, but they never could quite get over the hump. I think the Buffalo Bills are going to be that team. They're really good, James Cook and Josh Allen, but I just don't know if they have enough firepower to get over the hump.
Ooh, I like that analogy, Booger. Let's go to the Broncos for a second, because they're 6-2. But they're going to be without reigning Defensive Player of the Year, Patrick Surtain, with a pec strain. His defensive coordinator, Vance Joseph, says, quote, "Everything we do starts with Pat." Dude is a cornerback, Booger. Why is he ruled the chessboard?
Because he's like the ultimate chess piece, because he can take away one side of the field. Remember what Deion Sanders used to do and how he kind of tilted the balance of power when he went from San Francisco to Dallas? Surtain is not Deion, but he's in that same category of a corner that can take your best receiver, and he can, wherever you put him at, he can cover him. And what that does is that now you can take the other 10 guys and you can deploy them. We're not going to count the quarterback. Then it turns into 10 on 9. And I think that's where the numbers game becomes a great advantage for Vance Joseph, because you have a guy that almost acts as if you have two guys. We've heard people say you have to double cover some people. Well, they don't have to double cover the number one receiver, because you can put the reigning Defensive Player of the Year, and it just gives Vance Joseph almost a half a guy that he can put on somebody else.
Let's move to college football and a matchup that none of us thought in August, late August, would matter like it does now. Number 9, Vandy, at number 20, Texas. I know who I'm rooting for. Vandy, as if I went there. Booger, what does this mean? I mean, I know as an SEC guy, you look at this and say, Vandy, seriously? How big a matchup is this?
This is a huge matchup, Mike. If you think about it this way, Texas is favored, even though Vanderbilt is the higher-ranked team. And I think perception and reality come into play right now. I think if you're Vanderbilt, for the national media to kind of take you seriously, you need one of these wins against one of the Blue Bloods. Yeah, you beat LSU, but it's kind of a down year for LSU. And so now you go on the road, you go to Texas, Big Bad Arch Manning and everybody there. I think Clark Lee, the head coach, has done a masterful job. This quarterback, Diego Pavia, he is a force multiplier. I told you guys, he reminds me of Cam Scatterbo. Like, if you put them side by side, they almost look alike. They bring the physicality to their team. They're alphas. They make everybody around them better. And I think if you're Vanderbilt, the reason this game is so big, number one, it's got playoff implications on it if you want to make the postseason and get into the 12-team playoff. And number two, I think from a perception standpoint, if you're Vanderbilt.
And thank you for mentioning LSU in the lead up to it. Louisiana's governor. The governor says he will not let the LSU AD Scott Woodward hire next coach, to which I add parenthetically, what? Booger, you starred at LSU. How do you feel about the school's chances of hiring someone definitely better than Brian Kelly?
Well, first of all, I didn't know the governor's plate was so empty that he can start talking about football, but we'll be on here all day if we get into that. Let's move on to the football aspect of it. You know, Brian Kelly came to LSU as a CEO head coach. And I think his biggest downfall was the reason he got the job, which is he was the opposite of Coach O. He never really had a relationship with the players. He was a CEO, a top-down coach. He never got in the trenches with the guys. And so to your point, Tony, I think it's going to be a relatively tall task to maybe find a guy as organized as BK. But I think we'll find a players coach that'll be better and will be a better fit down in Louisiana. See, when you're coaching the South, it's about fit. You have to be able to look your players in the eyes and relate to the players. I want somebody that's going to be in the locker room with me, not somebody that calls down from the 5th floor to the locker room, if you follow me. And I think when you're in the Southeastern Conference, that's the way it has to be. I know it's a lot of names being thrown around. We're a long way from this coaching search being over, but there's no doubt in my mind, LSU's the best job out there. I think when it comes to finances, when it comes to facilities, when it comes to recruiting, Louisiana's in the best position. Somebody just tell the governor, hey, pipe down a little bit, worry about politics, let the football people worry about football. But I truly believe LSU will be able to get a better coach for the reasons I laid out.
Booger, a pleasure as always. Thank you
Truth.
so much for being
Speaking
on.
truth, Booger. Thank you.
Anytime, fellas. Y'all have a good one.
Let's take one last break. Still to come. The Nats are hiring the youngest manager in the majors since 1972.
Wow. And did Matt Rule just rule himself out of the Penn State job? Do we believe this bit of news, Tony?
The refreshing taste of twisted tea, hard iced tea. Please drink responsibly. Part of Happy Hour.
Happy time, people. Happy 77th birthday, Mickey Rivers. History lesson, kids. John Milton Rivers was a center fielder for the New York Yankees on their championship teams in 1977 and 78. Rivers was a .295 lifetime hitter who led the American League in steals once and triples twice. It's not a home run threat and was therefore lost on a team with power hitters like Reggie Jackson, Thurman Munson, and Greg Nettles. But Rivers had a terrific comic touch. He once said of owner George Steinbrenner and manager Billy Martin, quote, "Me and George and Billy, we're two of a kind," unquote. And when Reggie announced to the press he had an IQ of 160, Rivers cracked, quote, "Out of what, 1,000, unquote. In the 1978 playoffs, Rivers batted .379.
Yeah, when you're doing that, I don't think you get lost among those power hitters. You set the table for those power hitters. And you score a lot of runs in front of those power hitters. So he had to have been appreciated on those Yankee squads.
Absolutely. Happy anniversary, Herm Edwards. On this day 23 years ago, during a midweek press conference after his New York Jets had dropped to 2-5, Edwards was asked whether he had to talk to his team about not giving up on the season. Yes, the Jets were terrible back then, too. Edwards' response became the phrase most associated with him over 2 decades later. Quote, "You play to win the game." Edwards leaned into it, saying hello, as if the questioner was from outer space. Hello? You play to win the game. Herm Edwards was an NFL player, an NFL coach, and a college coach. He is our colleague at ESPN, and it goes without saying that we love him.
I love listening to Herm Edwards, love talking to him. His presence here in the desert where he spent some years is missed, Tony. I think I hit a tee shot in his backyard one day, but that's another story. But yes, more Herm Edwards is appreciated. I know you agree.
I do. Happy trails, Anthony Davis. Dallas's star big man left Wednesday's win over the Pacers in the first quarter. Did not return. After scoring a bucket, Davis started hobbling and soon thereafter looked like he was reaching for his left ankle area. He had been probable for the game with, quote, bilateral Achilles tendinopathy, whatever that is. I'm not that kind of doctor, but anytime an NBA player reaches for his Achilles, red flags go up. Davis played in only 9 Mavs games last season after they acquired him in the Luka Doncic deal. Now he's hurt again 5 games into the season.
Tony, it doesn't help things in Dallas that Cooper Flagg has had like a good game and a half. Okay, he's not in the top 3 or 4 at all in Rookie of the Year. It's early, though. It's early.
3 games. It's 3 games. Let's go 25 before we make Rookie of the Year. Let's go to the big finish. Nebraska and Matt Rule agreed on a 2-year extension. What does that mean?
It means he can go like, I don't know, 2 weeks without being asked about Penn State any longer. The Nats, your Nats, are reportedly hiring 33-year-old Blake Butera to be their manager. Does that make sense?
This tie is older than Blake. This tie. The Twins picked Derek Shelton to be their manager. Is that okay with you?
Yeah, he's had the requisite experiences, managed the Pirates, been a bench coach with the Twins. You know, I guess so. The NBA fined LaMelo Ball $35 for apparently flipping off a ref. Your thoughts?
You can say something to a ref, but when you have a gesture that everyone can see, that's no good. That fine should be higher. Higher.
Ooh.
Last one, the 4-0 Spurs and 5-0 Thunder both play tonight. Do you like them both to win again?
I like watching Wembanyama. The rest of it doesn't matter. If you don't have Shohei on tonight and you ought to be able to watch Wembanyama.
We're out of time. We will try to do better the next time. Here's my Binghamton doll, Harvey Stenger. You did a great job, and good luck.
Congratulations. I'm Mike Wilbon. Same time tomorrow, knuckleheads. Tony, you can say that to the ref. You can't